Hi everyone and welcome to High Tech Investments News Report for Week 9. We will as usual share any links in the description below the video, that way you can always follow up any detail later. We hope you will enjoy this news feed, and look forward to your comments and remarks. But before we switch over to the news studio, please make sure you give that like button a click and don't forget to subscribe and keep the notification bell turned on. So, without further ado, let's go to the news studio. Today's presenter is Mr. Bo Schoening Larsen. Bo, over to you.
Hi, Bo here, and welcome back to this week's news report. The news report has been delayed quite a few days, and unfortunately we became seriously ill early in the week, shortly after we did our last video. Luckily, we just got released from the hospital, so we're back online, but obviously at reduced capacity. But anyway, we didn't want you to miss out on what happened this week. Especially we have new investments. We want to tell you a bit more about Lumexbit, so at least what we have managed and what you can do. And then on top of this also we have testing now, the profit receiver. We have a full week of testing, very promising results, actually better than first expected. So let's get started and see what the week had to offer. And we start off with an extra investment we've done now with Paraiba. And this particular part here also shows that many other ones have done so. If you have a look at our last week's news report, at the time we did that one was about 81 million. And as you can see now, it's basically grown about 10 here. So it's going forward very, very quickly. In order to gain more of this particular pool, we have also stepped up our investment part. So if you have seen the previous videos, we have 21 accounts, $1,000 on the main, and then started off with $100 on the other 20. We have now upped those investments, so they are now up to 5,000, and then a couple of thousand on the sub accounts, and then the rest is still 100. And that has given us also access to pool 1, 2, and 3. And we're actually getting money from each 3 of the pools, and all coming from our downstream. Plus, of course, we're getting the 0.3% from our own investment, from our sub accounts, and some of all the other bonuses also that are available in Paraiba. So it's going quite well. We also got the rank bonus, which was an additional $100. So all in all, we were quite happy with how it's gone, and obviously continue to monitor as we go forward. What we're also monitoring at the moment is the challenge that we still want to try and do. There's a challenge until the end of March, where you have the opportunity to go and see the CEO and part of the Paraiba team and other members also. And as you can see last week, the top part here is where we were last week, and this week we are definitely closer to it. We haven't done much more work on this, but it looks good. Hopefully we will make it in time. We still have about 3.5 weeks to make it, so we'll do everything possible to try and get there. We also discussed YieldNotes, and YieldNotes came in with a nice surprise. We didn't expect anything over 8% after the first couple of weeks results, because we had a short February. So we expected only the YieldNotes team to maybe get around to the 8%, and we got a little cream on the top, which is actually astonishing results again. And very, very happy with this. It continues to grow, very, very stable. And they are also very proud of it at the moment, so they continue to run with this weekly profit charts. And it did not exactly mirror what we saw in January. The January one is the yellow marker, as you can see, where they did quite well on the last week. But they did certainly quite well for the last week here too, despite it was a lot shorter. So, but it shows how stable YieldNotes is week after week, even despite some of the things that are happening in the world right now. And the things that are happening in the world right now is very much on YieldNotes and Decenomy actually on their minds. So a lot of their team members are from Ukraine. So and that's also why they're now on the YieldNotes page. So where you basically log in. So you now have opportunity to support the people of Ukraine. And what happens here is that Steve and Uertz will basically match whatever you are adding in as a support. We have to say here also that this is just for humanitarian support. So this is not anything to do with weapons. So this is a very nice support that we can see from YieldNotes. They're certainly reaching out. We understand they have already gotten a range of buses for a lot of the refugees. So very well done to the YieldNotes team, so for being so proactive. Good news on the Elevate Pass. We are back up to the 2.0% after last week's 1.9, and then the weeks before we had 2% also. So this has been quite stable week after week, and there's nothing much to say about it. The profits come in a bit like YieldNotes here. Once a week we get the profits. They are being added to our balance, and that's basically the end of it. On top of this though, as you can see here, we also have some referrals coming in, and that means that some of the team members that are already in here are doing some rebuying, and that also we're getting a certain percent, if you remember correct. So direct referral commissions within Elevate Pass is 10%, and everybody else in your matrix is 1.8. So even though they are not directly linked with you, you still get a small profit for promoting this, or at least for telling them about it. And from there on, you can grow your team if that's what you want. But it looks good. And as we said, we started off with $550. We haven't actually had time to invest anything further. We are just running with what we have in there as of now. What is also going quite well, and we haven't invested anything further in this, was obviously the Sap and Sapphire coins. And we've seen some good movements. So the share of masternoding continues to be quite stable. So we are looking at the 53-54% mark almost all the time. It's in that region. But the overall coin development, so in the past week, has shot up. I must say that it has also come down a bit again, but this is what you can achieve with a bit of patience. So from 201%, so since July, we reached almost 300% here, 294. So just in beginning of March. So definitely not bad. We might be a bit lower now, so around the 270-80% mark. But still, it's going in the right direction. We are getting more coins. The value is going up. What's not to like? On the PNY, it goes the same way. So obviously, again, we are back into the 300 to 400% return on investment per year area. So last week it was around the 350%, and then it's been moving around in that area between the 330 to 350. So that also makes the shared masternoding go from 207% to 225. So continues to be good and stable. And then this time around for this week, we have taken a new all-time high also for the PNY of 113% from 61 the previous week. Obviously, great stuff. We already have several 100% of extra coins since we started, and now we're starting to see a good coin development at the same time. So future looks bright for the Decenomy coins. What doesn't look so bright here, so is last week we sent out breaking news regarding Lumexbit. We started to see some indications over the weekend and definitely on Monday morning, where I was actually helping out a few people in there when the Telegram app went down. And then shortly after, we thought it was going to come up, but there was more to it than just this, and that's why I sent out this particular video. I reached out quickly to a lot of the different partners, reached out to the CEO and anybody else that I've been involved in. We also made a quick chest withdrawal, and none of it went through. No communication was received at all, so we were pretty sure that this was actually a scam and not just a technical issue, despite they had advertised that there was a hacking attack on the Thursday before. And at the same time, obviously, you could also maybe believe that what is happening in Ukraine could have had an influence. We didn't believe so, as so many people all of a sudden went off the grid. It told us one sure thing, that this was definitely intentional. And since then, obviously, we haven't had a chance to follow up much from our hospital bed here, but there has been no news as such. So there's only one way forward, even though that the platform is still working, and we also see that the trading platform is working. We still suggest you do not put any money in there. You do not put any additional people in. We just did a check before this news report went out, and we can see there's basically 2 in the past week that has come in, not through our link, but through other people's link. And you have to make sure that you contact them, you tell them that this is a scam, and then basically trying to tell them to either join this channel or you guide them through it. So what we have right now here is there's a Scamwatch in Australia, so the ACCC, and you can go in and report this on the site. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get your money back from them. So they will register this and obviously share that also internationally. And if there's a chance that you try to get the money back here, of course, then you have to go back to either the bank, if your bank has helped you transfer the crypto coins into Lumexbit, or if an exchange has helped you. So if you have used Binance, who, any other crypto exchange, you go back to them and tell them that you have transferred crypto into a scam site, and then try and persist that you want to see if you can get your money back on this. Obviously, there's no guarantees, but that is the way forward as it stands right now. Another one that has done quite well for the month of February here is AI marketing, and that continues to be in the area of the 30% and 31.6 has been quite well, so it's definitely well received by us. The only thing we're missing is obviously a bit of news on when we can get some money out. That will be nice to see. We have obviously built up quite a bit so on the advertising budget, and we continue to do so, but it will be nice to make a test withdrawal at one point in time. So we had a new meeting again here from the team leaders. It was a bit delayed from the 1st of March to the 2nd. And as you can imagine now, unfortunately also the crisis in Ukraine there has hugely affected also AI marketing. It doesn't mean that AI marketing is a scam again. I've already seen some strange comments on here. So, but please go on our website, have a look at the PDF, read it through, because we can see AI marketing has been set up as a Russian company, or at least some people seem to believe so. They've been asked them to move servers, and they are now doing that while they are trying to establish exactly where the company comes from and who owns it. And hopefully that will not take too long. But again, this is another stone on the road that we certainly didn't need, and a bit of distraction to get the whole system back up and running. So we will see exactly what happens there. The minutes are there. I know exactly as much as are written in there at the moment. So we'll have to wait and see how that develops. But As always, we have actually seen good feedback from the AI marketing team, and unfortunately they have run into quite a few issues in the last couple of months. Some of them have been self-inflicted for sure. This one here unfortunately has not, and we just hope to see the light at the end of the tunnel very, very soon. Who has seen the light at the end of the tunnel is definitely Alex this week, and he has some new videos. He's got actually plenty of videos. We have not chosen to take all of them in this week, so we haven't had a chance to review them either. And he's looking at a couple of the MetaTrader strategy testers, basically how to work it, how to set it up. And the video here also shows there's 3 different ways of testing. We have some similar videos on our site you can go and have a look at. This all leads up to the last part here. So where again we are talking about the profit retriever, so the latest robot, so from EA Trading. And as we said, we have only seen it previously from our premium forum, so we did not have any particular testing done with this, but we have now. So for the past week we set up the profit retriever. We have only used one currency pair so far, and what we have come out with was actually a bit astonishing, a bit more definitely than I would have expected. So to just quickly go over the profit retriever again, it actually works on a martingale system, and as we said, this is normally a double or nothing system all the way up, but Alex has found a very nice way of also doing a reverse martingale system, where basically you put in different percentage risk every single time, and that means that you won't blow your account as you do with a normal martingale strategy. We did a lot of testing on this, but only for this one currency pair. We want to run a whole portfolio of robots on this, but just having one currency pair with a 10,000 account, we can see that we made $537.75 US over the 5 days. We actually made a profit of 5.36, and that was quite surprising, because the reverse martingale strategy should normally provide a lot less money, but is more safe, but still having more than 1%. So a day is definitely more than we could have expected come out of this, and that has given us a lot of enthusiasm to make sure that we go forward and we build on this. And that's what we managed to have in this week's news report. So we apologize for it coming out a bit late, and obviously we couldn't really do much about it this week. We will be back on next Friday, and hopefully we will have more news, more profits. In the meantime, just make sure on the Lumexbit side that you go and release your forms. You make sure that nobody else invests, and yes, please don't ask me if I have any updates, because we will always update the websites, and if there's some really good news for all the investors, then obviously we will do a video on this too. So thank you very much, and see you on the next video. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed our news report, so please don't forget to like and add your comment below, as we would love to get your feedback. But before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to keep the notification bell turned on. That way you will never miss any of our future videos. We hope to see you back on this channel very soon.